Hi everyone, I'm Ken from CryptoTradingKS. If you're new, welcome, and welcome back KS family. Let's run the numbers. Bitcoin currently down 2.12% to 37,588. Ethereum down 0.19% to 2621. From my 30 plus years in financial markets, I explained the smart money mindset to assist you to be more of a financial blessing to yourself and those you love, gaining real wealth in the process. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, please subscribe to YouTube. If you're going through a life pullback at the moment, please know that our community's love and healing thoughts are with you. You're not alone. The sun will come out again, and there's always hope. I also wanted to thank you for being a part of our extended global family. I appreciate you and everybody in the community very much. Yesterday we received some news that was pretty positive. It was like, for example, the Russian president was going to sit down and just seek to work through things. Now what we've seen is a completely different development. This particular area here, just keep this in mind. What is this? This is a Russian Federation, and this is the Donbass region. It may be a little bit easier to see from here. This is Russia. This is the Ukraine. Part of Ukraine is this area that I was talking about. Literally just a few hours ago, Vladimir Putin actually said those areas of Ukraine are now independent. Of course, he's got nothing to do with the independence or otherwise of what happens inside of another country. And that's why Britain's Prime Minister has come out and said Putin has broken international law. To explain just how silly the whole proposition is, it's like Canada. The Prime Minister of Canada saying North Dakota, which is part, or Minnesota, or Montana, or Washington, which is part of the US, is now independent. That's exactly why it violates international law, because one country cannot interfere with the sovereignty of another. But there are a few more things that we need to understand about this in order for you to actually understand what's going on. You can see when it comes to Russia, it's all in the headlines. Basically, this area, Russia has said it's independent. And what does that mean? What does it really mean? And this is the question we must always ask ourselves. What is behind this? Well, it's basically, if it's independent, it's not part of the Ukraine, even though it is. And Russia's signed a mutual assistance treaty and will move troops into this area without actually moving them into Ukraine. After all, it's an independent area. I hear you say, Ken, that's crazy. How could the Russians? Oh no, wait, they've already done it. Now, what is occurring here? So the Russian military is seeking pushing in peacekeepers to that area. To, what's this? Ukrainian attacks? What's important to understand is this is actually an illegal act. It's a violation of international law. But it's actually just a part of the art of war, as Sun Tzu wrote in his book thousands of years ago. Casus belli is an act or situation that provokes or justifies a war. This is all part of the psychology of war. You may have heard of the book, The Art of War. It was pioneered by Sun Tzu. Sun Tzu is widely regarded as the best military strategist that ever lived. In 40 years as a general, he never lost a battle, he never lost a campaign, and he never lost a war. That was pretty impressive. If you watch the film Wall Street, what you would see is Gordon Gekko was talking with Bud Fox about the art of war. All major executives and high-level executives, they understand Sun Tzu's teaching. Sun Tzu had a very scientific manner of actually waging war. He used spies. He used casus belli to actually cause conflicts. He sent his spies in to derail the existing ground forces. He did a lot of things, but he had a lot of scientific process behind the art of war. That's why he called it the art of war. Casus belli was used by Russia in 1939 to invade Finland. Casus belli was used by Russia in Georgia in 2008. And it's now being used in the Ukraine. It's been used time and time again by Russia, but Russia is not alone. This is just a tactic that is used in warfare all the time. It's basically like, for example, if you can remember when you were really, really young at school, maybe your friend is behind you poking you in the back, and you turn around and say, "Stop poking me." And the teacher says, "You," pointing to you, "detention." And you say, but it wasn't me. It was the person sitting behind me. That's what casus belli is. It's a setup. The market is reacting to this, of course, because markets do not like uncertainty. We can see gold starting to spike and the DXY starting to spike as well. Oil futures are on the way back up. When they come down, we can see that there's an easing of conflict. The fact that they're on the way up is actually showing us there's a problem. And we know why there's a problem because we examined it in yesterday's episode. Russian markets are not escaping the turbulence, even though Russia is instigating this. It knows, the markets know, it's going to be heavily penalized financially, and that's causing a bit of a correction, if not a crash in their stock market. What I've done is just in blue, I've overlaid the Nasdaq. Note the directional movement is highly correlated to the Russian market at the moment. What we may see is when the US market opens, it may move down quite significantly. We know that the US stock market is one of the largest markets in the world. It accounts for nearly $57 out of every $100 spent in stock markets globally. If it goes down, it will act as a gravitational pull on other stock markets. And of course, crypto will not escape that gravity as well. Just please bear that in mind. At times like this, it's really, really important to remember Rule 570. Psychology sets profitability. Many people think it's just a matter of getting the right indicator. It's not. It's all about managing your psychology. Zones 1 and Zones 2, the panic and the blame zone, is where people light switch in and out of opportunities. If you feel like you want to light switch, please don't act in fear. Act in terms of probability. That's how you actually make money. What we do in Zone 3, the patience and the rule zone, where we have probabilistic fearlessness, is that we make volatility our friend. We know that the markets could get more volatile to the downside right now, so we can just take our orders and put them lower down. We've unfortunately had many black swans in this bull run, and that's artificially suppressed price. For example, the China miner exodus, when all the Chinese miners dropped the hash rate and had to relocate out of China, that actually decreased the crypto market by over 55%. And then we had the Evergrande crisis and China again. And then we had Evergrande again. The Fed with inflation and rate hikes, and now we're seeing Russia and Ukraine. What we actually see behind all of this, there's actually a fairly good trend line, and it will come into effect at around 36,000. Just keep that one in mind. If you've been following this three-way decision-making process, what you will see is that you know exactly what you will do if price goes down, goes up, or goes sideways. It's literally always darkest before the dawn, and our community was born in this particular sell-off. What we see time and time again is when things get darkest, that is actually the time that they turn around. We always know that price is negatively biased because price is determined by crowd psychology, and people are basically fearful when it comes to putting their money inside the market, inside any market. The greatest investors in the world and the greatest traders in the world always lean in when price is coming down. This is the single best time to get in. It's not the single best time to get out. That's why there's such a huge difference between the retail mindset, which requires certainty, which just results in terror, and the professional mindset, which relies only on probability and rules. And it's also got the knowledge to understand what those rules are and the skill to actually apply those rules. That's what the three-way decision making is all about. Understanding that when percentages are involved, what comes down goes up by a heck of a lot more. The 10-5-10 fund is, if you start at $10, you buy something for $10, it goes down to $5, you lost half. But if you buy at $5 and it just recovers to $10, it just went up 100%. And that's what we actually rely on as professional traders and investors. And all investors become traders anytime they buy or sell. What do black swans actually look like, and how long do we have to wait until they repair? The best black swan, if there could ever be such a thing, was when the entire world shut down with the COVID crisis. That came down 63.5%. Notice that it actually recovered 174.52% over the next 80 days from the final capitulation. Just keep this in mind, 63.5%. Let's suggest that we have another COVID crisis, basically the world shutting down again because of war, because of Vladimir Putin. We would see potentially this 63.52% decrease. But remember, when you actually get a black swan, it dips down very, very quickly, it capitulates and then bounces up. And some people have been suggesting we've been in a bear market since, for example, April. That is absolutely incorrect. When you look at higher highs, what determines a trend? You have a high here, and this is a higher high there. This is an uptrend. What about from here to here? This is a low. This is a low as well, but it's a higher low. When you have a series of higher highs and higher lows, you are in an uptrend. This is not a bear market. What we've seen is a protracted reduction in price for a long period of time, and it's making a lot of people tired. Absolutely, I understand that. This is what financial markets do. For example, we came down over nearly 100 days, and then we rallied back very, very strongly. We came down 55.36%. The rally was over 137% up. But I know, and many members of the community know, what it was like to be in this area. The last thing many people wanted to do was buy. And then when it was coming up, many people said, why didn't I buy down there? Because it was terrifying. There were calls of $10,000 Bitcoin, and I held strong through all that and said, no way, thing is going up, and for a lot of reasons, and the markets will still continue to go up once Vladimir Putin's mischief is put to bed. You're in a similar situation now to what we were back in this particular time around July. There could, of course, be more negative momentum inside the market. Absolutely. Russia is known for its Russian roulette. Russia invented it. What a game. Put a gun to your head, put one bullet in the chamber, spin it and see who blows their brains out first. That is a really harsh game, but that's the kind of game the Russians tend to play. They're a very strong race of people. If you examine your feelings now and you were in the market back here, what is the difference between your feelings? They'd be around the same, wouldn't they? And how did you feel if you were in the market seeing a 63.5% drop, just a sheer drop down? And look at how quickly it actually came back up. This was the absolute ultimate time to be in the market, not the time to run away. This was the time to participate, but it's the exact opposite of what people do. It's really quite incredible. People go into the shop and want a discount, but when they go into the market, they want to pay over the retail price. You can see how important Rule 570 is. Psychology sets profitability. It's literally the way that you think will set your profitability. If you want to make money inside any market, you've got to become fearless. You have to look at the markets and understand the percentages. You need the skills. You need to think differently. It takes a really, really long time to think differently. To come out of the retail mindset is really difficult to do. Everybody wants certainty in life, but if you seek certainty inside financial markets, you will lose money. You have to go with the probability. The probability is, of course, that we could see more negative downside, but that negative downside, we know what the percentages mean. That is actually an opportunity. It's really only on days like today that Rule 700 makes sense. Wealth requires hard work, and that hard work is getting out of fear, getting out of that battle with fear. Life's internal battle is the real battle. Fear is your enemy. When you have knowledge, you can combat fear. And Vladimir Putin's Russian market is not immune to what is going on. His market is tanking. He's tanking his own market. And what I've done here is to put in blue, this is the NASDAQ. This is the futures of the NASDAQ. We could expect the futures to go down with the Russian market. Markets don't like war. Yesterday, we saw a decrease in tension with Russia and Ukraine, which was fantastic. But I popped Percy down here because I thought, well, it's potential that we would get a wick down to here, because we know that fear is greater than opportunity for human beings. That is why price is negatively biased. And that's what it did. It came back to there. And then we had this announcement of the independence, Russian independence of different parts of Ukraine, which violates international law. That's not good. So we could expect Percy to come down further. And we just have to see how far Percy could come down. But remember, markets don't thrive in certainty. Markets thrive in uncertainty. I'll overlay the shorts here. And what I've been waiting for is the shorts to enter the market. I've been waiting for months and months for the shorts to get confident, to get certain that the market will go down. That will fuel an exponential increase in Bitcoin's price and all of crypto, because we know no alt can escape Bitcoin's gravity. Hopefully the shorts are now full of confidence that it's basically the end of the world, and they will make unbelievable amounts of money. One thing that I've learned over 30 plus years in financial markets, as soon as somebody thinks it's an absolute certainty, the opposite happens. Let's see what actually goes on. The critical thing, the probability would be for downward price momentum, but that's not to mean that we couldn't see an upsurge in price. As shorts come in and cover positions, this is quite possible. That's why you really absolutely always have to have those three-way decisions playing out at all times. And do not let fear rule your life. Say no to fear. Please let me know in the comments on YouTube what you feel will happen here. This is a very uncertain market. When we look at the options for Bitcoin at the end of March, the end of next month, what do we actually see? People are putting in bids for up to $400,000 Bitcoin. And we can see there's a lot of open calls, which is an expectation that the price will go up. This is really, really interesting. wouldn't you expect that the option holders would say, okay, I'm going to close these positions, I'm not interested, maybe we need to go short? So you would see a huge amount of open interest in the put side, because to put down is not very nice. That's a kind of a negative thing. To call up is kind of nice. That's a positive thing. But if you think about it, we're not seeing this behavior in the options market at the moment. Why not? There's always conflicting signals in the market, but I personally believe we are in for higher prices because we're in the bull market segment. There is a limited amount of time for institutions to act. Yes, the price could come down, and it could come down hard, but I believe that it could also repair very, very quickly, as we saw in the C19 crisis in March of 2020. These crises, these black swans, are the ultimate opportunity for the professional investor and trader to either dollar cost average in or ride the momentum. I'm personally hoping to see an absolute surge in shorts. If they don't feel confident now, I don't think they ever will. And professional traders and investors actually understand that it's shorts who get liquidated. They actually drive the price up, and we get all sorts of cascading liquidations occurring. When the shorts get liquidated, price goes up, but they feel that it's overextended, so they go short again. This liquidation of shorts to the negative side when price comes down too far, too fast, and to the positive side of longs is the symbiotic nature between longs and shorts. They're not in battle with each other. They're just cooling and heating the market appropriately. If I can do anything for you today, I want to just help you to understand when we get black swans, they are the single best opportunities ever. They're kind of like the once in a lifetime opportunities to get in on the absolute ground floor. When everybody is running for the door, we're running in. If you have 10-5-10 levels in the market at the moment, I would suggest you place them lower. But of course, it's up to you. Experts don't know your needs. You need to do whatever you think is appropriate, but please do not act on fear, act on knowledge. I think a really good thing to keep in mind is casus belli, an act or situation that provokes or justifies a war. I believe this is the tactic, the art of war, that Russia is trying to apply to Ukraine. Ukraine is definitely not biting, and they've said time and time again, they've called it out. I'd also suggest that you keep your eye on Russian news. Now we have Japan likely to join any US-led sanctions on Russia. So we have the US, the UK, Europe, all leading sanctions against Russia. It's also good to keep in mind that when we look at futures open interest, we can see basically there's still an increase in futures open interest. We can see that the actual open interest is starting to get down to a trend line. It could be supported here, and we can see quite similar things in Bitcoin's price too. That's this very strong particular support line coming down here at around 35. Because fear is so much greater than greed, Rule 5 probably makes a lot more sense now. You can always buy lower. When we look into the crypto market as professional Zone 3 investors and traders, and we know that all investors become traders every time they buy or sell, so they should know how to trade. What we can see here is the psychology dictates your percentage returns. You always want to buy at a discount, and we're seeing a lot of turbulence in the market, and that turbulence could just be starting. So to move your particular 10-5-10 levels down would make a lot of sense. That's a probabilistic thing to do. It's not a fear-based thing to do. We don't act on fear. We use probabilistic fearlessness. We're just moving in line with the market. Now, what happens if everything just dramatically just gets better and prices start to surge. It could happen. That's crypto. If that is the case, you might slide back into zone 1 or zone 2 and have regret or other feelings, other negative feelings. Don't feel that way. When you act on a probability, you act on a probability. It's a chance that it may go against you. If it goes against you, you say, so what? I did the right thing. If you're doing the right thing, you're not doing the wrong thing. And the wrong thing is to act in fear and do the light switch. Sometimes it makes a lot of sense to just manage your risk more tightly when things are going a little bit bananas. Just always understand what the percentages mean. A very big move down is something that we absolutely want to take part in. You only have to ask one question of yourself. If, and this is a good thing to cover off in the comments as well, if you could go back in time and buy on this really, really long spike down that happened on the 12th of March, would you do it now, understanding how percentages work? And going a step further, if you had your time again, would you buy around the 20th of July before it went green, knowing how horrific it felt? It felt like it was the end of the world, that basically Bitcoin will just come down and down and down, and people were calling for $10,000 Bitcoin at that stage. Please let me know in the comments. And what happened? We saw a fairly good recovery. And let's just go forward with that. Now we're at a similar situation. We're at a similar point of feeling the same way. What could happen here? What will you do? Please let me know in the comments. I hope you found the content useful. Please consider sharing and liking this video if you think it helps others. Thank you very much to our moderators for keeping our community safe from scammers, the CTKS ambassadors for mentoring masterclass students, and of course a very big thank you for you for watching and for being part of the global KS family. Please say hi and let me know if you have any questions. If you would like daily updates on price movements in the crypto market, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, please subscribe to YouTube. I've left helpful links in the description of this video, such as the CryptoTradingKS Masterclass. Please seek out an ambassador to get 80% off. Please remember, crypto is volatile. Always prepare yourself for the best and worst case scenarios. Reality will likely be between them. Stay safe out there, my friends. Take care and see you next time. Bye for now.